Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can see us and hear us okay. Okay, I will wait another 30 seconds just for who is still joining has access, and then we will kick off, okay? Okay, so welcome to our live stream today, how financial services can avoid paying millions for using unsecured messaging apps. I'd like to start with a quick round of introductions. I'm Lais Rocha, Product Marketing Manager here at Rocket.Chat, and I'm calling from Brazil. Today I'm here with my colleagues Young and Mike. Say hello, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Mike has 4 years in the secure messaging space. He's an expert on compliant messaging systems for employees and customers. And Young brings 10 years of experience in solution engineering. He's adept at bridging the gap between technical expertise and client needs and delivering innovative solutions. So just before we really start, I'd like to give some housekeeping notes. First, although this content is tailored specific based on US regulations, Rocket.Chat is a global company. So we would love hearing from you all where you're calling from. Please utilize the chat at the bottom of your screen to interact with us. Second point, right after in the questions component, please utilize that one to send the questions because then it's easier to us to follow it. So apart here from Young and Mike, there's also other Rocket team members that will join us and help us to moderate the chat. But we also would like to save some time on the Q&A for Q&A, and then you can interact with us in the end of the presentation, okay? Next slide, please, Mike. Okay, so just a quick introduction and then the agenda, and then I will ask Mike and Young to navigate us through all the content. But as you all know, even better than us, along with the effects of pandemic, digitalization is accelerating because customers expect to interact with financial services as they interact with other retail services, where they went and when they went. And millennials are driving this trend. They now represent 1.8 billion people, the largest cohort worldwide, and with 23% of the population. So as more communication has shifted to digital, security and compliance burdens on financial institutions have also grown. And workers at many institutions have shifted their communication to consumer-oriented messaging apps like WhatsApp and Signal. And these, of course, pose significant challenges to financial regulatory. So safeguards rule took effect in 2023, but after public comments, it was amended in 2021 as a response to these new risks to make sure the rule keeps pace with current technology. So that's why Mike will cover, please, next slide, the landscape. What are the regulatory violations, requirements, and our Rocket.Chat solution? And Young will give us the opportunity to see it in action, so how to keep communication compliant using Rocket.Chat. And then the Q&A, as I said before. So please, Mike, welcome, and feel free to lead.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Lais. Really appreciate it. And thank you for those who have joined us this morning. It's good to see you. So just from an agenda perspective, I'm going to take you through a presentation, and then Young will lead an interactive demo after the presentation. So we're really excited about the topic today. So I want to start by just getting into kind of what happened. So the title of this webinar is FINED, and there's a couple articles here that we highlighted from The Banker and CNN Business. And so if I could summarize for the audience what exactly happened and why some of these Wall Street firms and financial organizations were fined, their employees were using messaging products like WhatsApp, SMS, iMessage, and Signal to conduct business either with other employees or market contributors. And so there's a couple reasons why that's not allowed in terms of following federal financial regulations in the United States as well as in the United Kingdom. One of the reasons is that there is no record keeping or no supervision in terms of using private messaging apps. And so some of those applications are encrypted. WhatsApp certainly is encrypted, and I use a lot of those messaging applications in my personal life. However, professionally, as Lais touched upon, employees started working from home, and I think that's part of why this happened. So I was actually talking to one of my banking customers, and they said that the way they communicate today is the employees shout across the bank, and that was before they switched to Rocket.Chat. So that's sort of kind of like the old school way that things happened. Obviously, if it was something confidential, maybe you had to go up to your teammate. But, obviously with the pandemic, and I have a pretty unique perspective seeing how messaging has evolved since then. My daughter was actually born in March of 2020. And so it was like we went into the hospital, the world felt kind of normal. We came out and it was a lot different. And I also have been in messaging since that time and work from home. That was the last time that I went into an office was February of 2020, at least on a permanent basis. By the way, side note, it's good having little kids in the house. I cut my finger right before this presentation, and there's lots of Band-Aids around. So always nice when you have something like that happen. But yeah, just to summarize, there was fines issued due to employees doing business on personal devices, particularly using personal messaging applications rather than approved business applications or having applications that were vetted to be in compliance with the financial regulations. We also see similar things happen in healthcare as well. And so this isn't going away. The news really is growing. As you can see here, this news really resonated. And so I've actually talked to some prospective customers where they've tried to ignore this, whether it's in the finance space or the healthcare space, or predominantly where we see these types of regulations when it comes to communication and messaging. For obvious reasons, you're dealing with people's financial information, you're dealing with patient health information. There's regulations for the stock market in the U.S. And so a lot of companies have tried to just ignore this problem or hope that it goes away. I actually had someone say something to me once that in the real world, their employees send text messages. And so that kind of stuck with me, because what I would respond to that respectfully is, in the real world, companies will get fined hundreds of millions of dollars when your employees do that. So I know it's convenient to conduct business that way. But as the world's changing, we as consumers and companies have to change as well. And so I wanted to get into two myths that I feel like have perpetuated some of these issues that I've seen. So I would say myth number one that I see that's pretty common is a lot of people think an application like WhatsApp particularly is compliant because it has end-to-end encryption. And so, of course, this is better than an SMS type of message without encryption or an email message without encryption. However, there's no ability to supervise who has access to the information, who's sharing the information. There's no way to keep records or audit those messages, particularly in that case, if they're end-to-end encryption. It can be a really big mess if you need to provide an audit of communication that was sent either to employees or to customers. So that's myth number one. And you can see with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, they couldn't be more clear that record keeping and supervision requirements are fundamental. And failing to comply with these is going to cause risk to businesses. And so that kind of dovetails into myth number two that I've seen in the messaging marketplace, which is a lot of people are looking for encryption, adding a layer of encryption to text messages or emails, and then they think that that can make their communication compliant. And so what I would say to that kind of general thought process is there's messaging products out there that are built for you that you don't have to kind of put lipstick on a pig, so to speak. I have yet to see a text messaging solution where you can just make text more secure. They're still ultimately going to be SMS, iMessage, text messages. Security and vulnerability is going to be an issue. And then even if there was some sort of add-on encryption to this tool, I would question what would the user experience be like. And same thing with email. I mean, that's really like when I talk about lipstick on a pig, I recall I was switching healthcare providers. And so I got an encrypted email for my kids' healthcare records. It actually took me, and I'm not making this up, it took me an hour to open that email. I also see some issues with being able to audit those types of communications. In this case, it was an encrypted attachment. Then you get into how does it work based on what type of email is the other user using. There's just a whole lot of red flags with that solution. And I really just can't tell you how many folks I've talked to initially that were looking for that type of solution. So there's really seems to be this gravitation towards encryption. And encryption is, I would say, one of the main fundamental components. Yes, so that's great. However, I think people are thinking about it the wrong way, because you also need record keeping and supervision. And not just that, why take an unsecure messaging platform and try to make it more secure when you can just look for a more secure messaging platform? And so we'll talk a little bit more about that, particularly mapping that to Rocket.Chat in a moment. So one other component here. So certainly there's fines and penalties for not being compliant or not following regulations. But we didn't really get into kind of what is even the reason that these rules exist. And one of them is because of hackers. And we could do a whole separate webinar on hackers in the financial community, certainly at risk for obvious reasons, handling financial data, second really only the healthcare sector. And quite honestly, those are two of the primary verticals that we serve here at Rocket.Chat, in addition to government and education. And so a lot of the highly secure messaging use cases, that's really our sweet spot. And the types of customers that we serve, security really is at the forefront of our product. And so there's kind of this famous quote. There's lots of different variations with it when it comes to hacking. So the way that I like to say, there's two types of companies: those that have been hacked and those that know they've been hacked. I also think about, I was recently talking to a CEO of a healthcare organization, and at one point he brought up the fact that some of his patients have HIV and how important it was for him to protect the patient health information. And so I could really tell that CEO cared a lot about the privacy of his customers, not just the fines and the implications in case there was a data breach. And so as a consumer, I'm going to look to work with businesses, whether it's business to business consumer or business to personal consumer. I'm going to look to work with businesses where I feel like the business truly cares about my privacy. So that's become more and more important in 2023 and beyond. All right. So we've talked about what has happened in terms of the fines. We've talked about why did it happen. We've talked about a couple of the myths that I've seen in messaging in terms of WhatsApp and their encryption security, or in terms of making text or email more secure. And then we've talked about the risk of being hacked. So I want to take a moment to kind of map this now to Rocket.Chat. So Rocket.Chat has an internal collaboration solution. And so that solution, particularly related to this webinar, it's going to help for that employee-to-employee communication and collaboration. So that's going to be things like messaging with a user experience that is fundamentally just like the modern messaging experience you would have with SMS, WhatsApp, or iMessage, or Signal. So the product is going to incentivize your employees to get off of those risky and less secure means of communication and start using Rocket.Chat to send secure communication, to have audio and video calls, or to share files. Data sovereignty is a big deal. So we talked about encryption, In encryption, there's 3 types of encryption that you want to look for in a messaging product. That's encryption at transit, encryption at rest, and end-to-end encryption. You're also going to want to look for a product with role-based access or role-based permissions, and that's going to help with the supervision. Message auditing is going to help with the record keeping. And then from a security perspective, Rocket.Chat is SOC 2 compliant, ISO 27001, GDPR, and HIPAA. Those are kind of the 4 gold standards that you can look for in a messaging application or product. And then we also have a data loss prevention tool. Here is probably maybe the most critical thing that we offer, which is the on-premise solution is really a great fit for our financial services customers, as well as many other customers we serve. You don't need to worry about who has access to the cloud, how do they do testing, what are all their processes. You don't need to worry about how data is processed. And what on-premise deployment means is you can deploy to your own private cloud or even to a server room and pick the country. We work with customers in lots of different countries. Some of them prefer to host data in their own countries or their own areas. And so really big benefit there of Rocket.Chat. Now, certainly we do have cloud-based deployments. We have a premium cloud-based deployment as well as dedicated cloud-based deployments for customers that are looking for that. That don't want to deploy themselves, and that is also highly secure as well. And then we even offer air-gapped, which is frequently seen in government, which actually means that your data is off the grid, off the internet. From an API and white labeling perspective, there's a lot of flexibility with our product. The most exciting one, and we're going to be showing this a little bit later, is our in-app chat. Where you can actually take our team internal collaboration product and embed that in your own website or your own mobile application. So that's where you start getting into the customer communication, and that's also just as secure as the internal collaboration product. So now you can have secure communication, whether it's financial advisors communicating with their customers as an example, or maybe it's a community of people that want to talk about financial related topics, whatever it is. It could be across other industries. That's becoming a lot more common to have messaging inside of a product experience that you use. So many of you have probably experienced that inside the apps that you love. We collaborate great with partners. We have a Slack bridge, Teams bridge. We also have a Matrix Federation that was added to our product recently, which is really popular amongst our users and our community. And then finally, end user communication. So our omni-channel product allows you to streamline communication from a variety of channels into the Rocket.Chat console and have an agent, so to speak, reply to those channels from one unified inbox. So some of you might be thinking, it's really hard for me to get my customers off WhatsApp because we talked about that earlier. So this is where that can live, and we often see people redirect users to a more secure platform, including our live chat widget, which has the high security that our internal collaboration product does. And so that's a great way to have a login-less experience with your customers where they can communicate securely. So moving along, I just wanted to quickly touch upon these 6 points here and map them to what you might look for in messaging features. So in terms of implementing and periodically reviewing access controls, so you're going to want to look at what types of user permissions does your system have. In terms of cloud, if you're doing a cloud deployment, you might want to know who has access to the keys, to the data. How is the data processed? Do you need a data processing agreement? How are those employees trained? If it's self-hosted, certainly it's going to take care of some of those risks that you don't even have to worry about. In terms of anticipating and evaluating changes to your information system or network, when I think of that, I see that more as kind of a compliance and company policy project. And so one of the things that actually we did see is some of these companies did have secure messaging options. One of the problems came down to enforcing the policies and getting employees to want to use those secure messaging platforms rather than the more convenient send a SMS to your coworker, particularly if you have a close relationship with them. Maybe that's how you communicate with your friends and family, so we're all used to that. For me, this was really striking at Rocket.Chat when I did my onboarding. The HR team had a segment where they said, there's only one way to communicate at Rocket.Chat, and they said, inside Rocket.Chat, that's it. It just made it really simple for me. I said, great. we're going to dog food our own product, and that's how we communicate. I'm in there all the time. In terms of implementing policies, procedures, and controls designed to monitor and log the activity of authorized users. So one of the things that comes up a lot in secure messaging use cases is how long are messages retained. And so at Rocket.Chat, out of the box, it's perpetual message retention. Particularly, I know in the healthcare space, in the finance space, you want to be able to keep a record of the messages for a certain period of time. A lot of times I'll hear 7 years matters. If you have a use case where you need a shorter period of message retention, you can also customize that feature as well. In terms of overseeing the service providers, that can be more broad than just messaging, but when it comes to messaging, I think about self-hosting as one way to do that, or understanding who's behind the cloud hosting. Certainly the Omni-channel product can help you streamline that communication and redirect communication with sensitive customer information into those secure channels. And then the bridge service that we offer, the Slack Bridge, Team Bridge, and the Matrix Federation that we talked about. In terms of record keeping and supervising, we've talked about this: message retention, message history, and user permissions, and auditing. And I would say this really is, again, the fundamental thing that's most important that the WhatsApp type of solution or the Signal type of solution doesn't provide. And then finally, message encryption. Of course, that's table stakes. And again, just one more time, the things you want to look for or ask for in a messaging solution is going to be encryption at transit, encryption at rest, and end-to-end encryption. Okay, so it's almost time for the demo. So we've talked kind of through a lot of different topics. Now we're going to do a demonstration. We're going to actually demonstrate 3 of the Rocket.Chat products here and just do a really brief overview tailored to the use case that is aligned with this webinar topic here today. And so the first thing that we're going to show to make it as simple as I can is the employee-to-employee team collaboration messaging solution. It can be deployed, like I said, on-premise, cloud, or air-gapped. There's message history product features. You can share audio files, pictures. You can reply in threads, on and on, read receipts, all the messaging features that you would expect of a user as a modern messaging user. So with that said, I'm going to pass sharing privileges to Young, who's going to lead us through the demonstration.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Hopefully it's a blank screen for now.
Got it.
Got it. Awesome. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll drag over team collaboration. So as Mike was talking about, it's really just about secure real-time communication from employee to employee, making it easy for them, but then also providing that power to the admins of how to restrict access to their employees, their users, being able to audit those conversations when that need arises, using things like what we have as data loss prevention. So say, as an instance, I'm logged in as Bob and I happen to share a customer social security number or birth date or credit card number or whatever it may be, being able to capture that message, flag it, and then notifying an admin so that admin can review the content of the message, approve or reject it. So that's what we're going to kind of cover here. And we can always stop if there's any questions. Just let us know. Okay, so as long as everyone can see my screen, I am logged in as Bob. I'm just a financial advisor, and I have a different set of rooms that I'm part of, so different channels. So I'm part of the finance service team. And in that team, there's different employees that are also part of it. So if I take a look at my different team members, Mike's going to help me get through this a little bit so that way it doesn't look like I'm just strictly talking to myself. So what I'm going to do is going to do a quick message to Mike and start a threaded conversation. And I'm going to look for an approval for a loan. And I'm going to go ahead and attach that loan. So we're going to say, for Oliver, I'm going to quickly attach a file. So just real quick, being able to start a threaded conversation, keeping conversations nice and organized within that channel. And as Mike is going ahead and replying, what we'll see is I'm actually using those role-based permissions, and I'm restricting Bob to only allow him to do direct messages. And those direct messages are only going to be with his team members. He's not going to be able to message everyone in the organization. It's only going to be within the finance team. Additionally, he's not going to be able to create any channels because I don't want random channels within our workspace. I want to be able to kind of restrict where these messages are going to be taking place. And it looks like Mike has gone ahead and reviewed it, approved it. So go ahead and say thank you. Thank you. Pretty easy. Okay, let's take a look at what we want to do is be able to audit. Thank you. So what we want to do is be able to audit these messages. So real quick, again, it's all about permissions. So we have 180 permissions. You can create custom different roles for each and one of your different teams within your organization. So like the finance team can have its own role, HR, IT, so on and so forth. But one of these permissions is the ability to audit messages. So if we take that loan approvals as an example, I can take that room. We're going to go ahead and go back in time, and we're going to see the different messages that have occurred in that channel. I can review all these, make sure everything's going well, get rid of that share screen, and then I can then export this pretty quickly into a PDF, share that with another auditor or with the admin or wherever we're trying to regulate the messages. And let's make sure we cover all the topics. So, and if we take a look, a really nice, powerful way of sending a message is, so say in the example, Mike had asked me for the last 4 digits of the social security number of Oliver, the loan application. And I accidentally typed in the entire social security number. Looks like Mike is typing. So again, is using that data loss prevention, flags the message. If I click on more information, it's going to let me know that, hey, that looked like a social security number, it's pending approval, and then it requires an admin to kind of review that message and approve or reject the message. So in this case, really, Mike only wanted the last 4 digits, and I accidentally sent the full social security number. I think that's the end for this. Kind of to hit another topic as Mike was talking about retention. So as by default, all workspaces store messages forever. And as an admin, I can set that up again, if it's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. But I can actually manage that at a per channel level as well. So say if I want some rooms or channels to be more transient, I can do that. And then other ones I can have where messages last forever. And then I can archive those messages to another tool if I want to. Pretty easily. I'll stop. So let me pull up the slides because I think we're going to cover our next topic.
Great. So just to reset, so this isn't confusing since we're going to be kind of switching products, so to speak, although these are all sort of extensions of the core Rocket.Chat product. Our omni-channel product, and you can see here the WhatsApp logo, which might surprise some folks, but as we mentioned, there is a time and place for WhatsApp, and maybe your customers are used to communicating with you like that. So whether it's WhatsApp or social channels or email or SMS, you can direct your customer, you can respond to your customers from a unified inbox. You can also redirect them to a secure messaging link if that's something you need to do. And so the one thing that we want to focus on the most here, due to the theme of the webinar, is our live chat widget, which is highly secure and loginless. And so often on the market, you might find that your customers will need to log in order to get into a secure messaging portal. And so one of the unique things about the omni-channel product is you can just capture something like name and date of birth, and then have a secure messaging interaction with the customer as an agent without requiring them to log in. And so again, this is our omni-channel product, and the workflow that you're going to see here is inbound. So it'll start with a customer and then go to the agent.
Yeah. I'm going to end the slideshow real quick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split my screen, and let me take a look. Where is it at? There we go. Hopefully everyone can, this will look fine for the demonstration. So what I have on the right-hand side is going to be just a mock finance website where our live chat widget is living. So it's a quick and easy thing for me to install, drag and drop a snippet of code, and boom, it's up and running. And in this demo, what we're going to see is I'm going to play Oliver. Oliver just wants to know more about retirement information, or maybe he wants to open up a new bank account, or wants to know more about his 401k, or whatever it may be. I'm going to interact with the chatbot. And through that chatbot, it's going to collect some information, and then what department do I want to get to? Again, still playing as Bob. Bob is then going to quickly respond to Oliver, confirm his contact information, do some quick responses, and then it's kind of everything you're going to expect for the agent, being able to say, hey, maybe you got to the wrong department or wrong agent. Let me get you over to Mike as an example. I can quickly do that. I can quickly export that conversation and share it with the visitor or the customer if they wanted to. So everything that I can possibly do through that Omni channel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in as the agent. We have some queued chats that are already here. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and start a conversation. And again, this is communicating right now with a bot. So I'm using Dialogflow as that conversational chatbot. It asks me, what do I want to get assistance with? Retirement. I hope I can spell. So, and I'm Oliver, and my email. And then ultimately, what department do I want to go to? I want to go to the dialogue or the retirement department. And we see a new conversation has appeared. I could see that conversation with that chatbot. And again, I could pick it up. We can see that Bob has joined the channel. We have a little indication that, Bob has joined. And I can say, hello, Oliver. So real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and add Oliver's information and just kind of show, as a quick response. I can also, again, I can use what we call canned responses. And this is a quick and easy way to say, hey, here's a quick answer to a question that Oliver may have asked, or maybe a quick question. Again, kind of using, hey, what's your last 4 digits of your social security number, and showing, again, protecting that customer or that visitor's data, and say again that the visitor typed in their whole social security number. It gets flagged. It lets them know that that was sensitive data. It is blocked right now. And as the agent, I'm unable to read that information. So again, it's flagging that that message and protecting that customer's data. So if they shared their full credit card number or whatever they may be that they're not allowed to, that can be blocked and reviewed by an admin. Okay. Another key aspect of the Omni-channel is being able to integrate with an existing ticketing system or CRM. So you can kind of see that Salesforce popped up. So with Rocket.Chat, both the team collaboration and Omni-channel is very flexible in what you can integrate it with. We have many apps that are in our marketplace, but if that app doesn't exist, we do have what we call an apps engine, and that's just a developer kit to help you extend and reach out to other existing tech stack that you may have. So if it may not be Salesforce, maybe it's HubSpot, or maybe another CRM, or maybe it's ServiceNow or some other ticketing system. You can build out that app for your organization so that it can help your agents or your users be more productive. Let's double check. Okay, and then we go ahead and I think our next topic is then going to be our chat engine. Go ahead and share. There we go.
Yep. So before we get into chat engine, just to kind of recap what I was thinking through as Young was showing the Omni-channel product, that is a really, really easy way to a new customer that's interested in joining your firm. It's a really easy way to capture secure information that's encrypted, that can be supervised, that has a record. So really checks all the boxes of the topics that we've discussed so far today. So finally, and really kind of last but not least, because this is our fastest growing product here, would be the chat engine. And that's taking our fully featured messaging product and embedding it into your mobile app or website. And so this is where we start to see those employee to customer interactions as part of a product. And your user, this is a white labeled solution. Your users won't know that Rocket.Chat is behind this on the back end. This is more for kind of ongoing conversations that take place. Typically, you'll see this in marketplaces or communities. So certainly there's financial communities or financial services products where there's messaging components. We offer a REST API-based implementation. We have an iframe, which is a really easy way to embed our product into your product, taking advantage of all the messaging features. And then you can also build a custom front end as well. So that way you'll have full control of the UI and the user experience. So with that, I think let's get into the demonstration.
Good. Let me go ahead and minimize these and let me make sure that I'm still logged in to a portal. Test. Awesome. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see this. So what we built was just a quick portal, financial portal. This could be investor communication. Maybe they want to talk about the new stocks that are coming out or new stock investments, or it could be a business to consumer where, in this case, I'm going to be Andrea and I want to talk more about my current 401k or current investments with my advisor. And in this demonstration is going to showcase the iframe. So essentially what we're doing is we're iframing a channel, a room, and that room is going to be just a private conversation between Andrea and John. Click on Talk with Advisor. We can see there's an existing conversation that is already ongoing with John. I can do an at mention with John. And what we'll see, again, Mike is being my helpful partner here, is going to end up responding here. As we're waiting on that, we can see existing conversation. It can be threaded conversations. I get a notification that John has replied. I can see the conversation, and then I can upload file. Again. Use emojis. So again, it's about making the communication real time and simple. So in most cases, it's going to be email or text or phone calls, but being able to do this with real time communication. If John wanted to, he could start a video conferencing call with me. Again, that data loss prevention. If John asked me for my social security number, birth date, maybe credit card number, maybe something he's not supposed to ask me, that message could be flagged, obscured. Being able to implement this real quick into your existing portal. So again, being able to throw this into your existing web portal, mobile app, that can all be done through iframe or using REST APIs to build out your own custom front end. So he's asking for my social security number. So again, we're just going to go ahead and type in generic social security number. And it looks like the message was again blocked. Wasn't supposed to send that. So, but it's pretty simple. Again, having a one-on-one conversation, it could be many to many. Just depends on the use case and what you're trying to solve. Let me go ahead and pull up. Oh, that's 4. There you go. So I'm assuming you're asking me if it's self-hosted. So again, the Rocket.Chat could be deployed anywhere. So we provide hosting, but most importantly, is being able to host this yourself, whether or not that's in your own data center, in your own cloud of choice. But I'll go ahead and share, I suppose, the last screen and see where we're at with questions. Here.
So one question that I did see regarding the chat engine demonstration, is it possible to provision users so customers can't message each other? So the answer to that is yes. If you have a use case with in-app chat or chat engine where you don't want your customers talking to other customers, it's certainly possible to provision the permissions and then handle that through the API so that when they log into that kind of website that we showed, the finance website, there will be restricted permissions, and then they'll only be able to message the people that you want them to. I don't know if you want to add any context to that, Young.
No, I think they covered it pretty well.
Okay. Okay, I saw another comment earlier when we were talking about deployment options. So someone wanted to know, can Rocket.Chat help with the self-hosted deployment? The answer is yes. We have a professional services team, and so they can provide assistance with a self-hosted deployment, including helping you size the workspace. Typically, the most popular deployment methods are going to be Docker or Kubernetes. So the way that you deploy is going to be determined based on the concurrent connections and how big you need to scale your workspace. Certainly, that's something that we can assist with. All right. Yeah, I did see one more. I'm not sure if there's any additional questions coming in. The last one that I had seen, is there a trial so that I can try this out? So yes, we offer a SaaS trial, so a cloud trial, so you don't even have to deploy. It's 30 days, and you can test out all the product features. Everything comes included with that, excluding a certain number of users that you're limited to in the trial. We also are about to launch a starter plan. So for self-hosted customers, you can basically have a perpetual trial where you can fully develop, if you want to develop your chat engine with up to 25 users, that's something that you can look to do. Or if you want to fully configure your Rocket.Chat workspace. And so the answer to that is yes, you can fully test Rocket.Chat before committing as a customer. I didn't see anything else. I don't know if there was anything else we should touch on, Lais or Young.
I don't see anything else here at chat as well. So if anyone have anything to add or to question, I think we will be wrapping this up today, but we are totally available. So if there's any comments that you'd like to add or any question you didn't have opportunity to send, please feel free to reach out to us. And we really thanks everyone who joined. We know everyone is busy, so thanks for carving out time to be here. And as I said before, the meeting was recorded, so we will be sending it for your email by the end of the day.
And for those of you who might watch this later on recording, certainly we'd be excited to talk to you. Feel free to contact our sales team to set up a discussion, or if you had any questions over email. And really appreciate the support of our marketing team, Lais, and the rest of the team. So thank you for putting this together for us. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate Mike and Young. Bye.